All right, I guess we need to try to record another episode of this podcast again.
What?
We got all of our gadgets out here again.
Our bears?
Yeah, we got our Goldberg bear.
And our wolf pack? Wolf, what?
That's right, we got our green hemp cereal bar.
Oh, hell yeah.
We got our green hemp pre-roll.
What?
And we got Dave with the graphic. Hit that graphic, Dave. Let's get the intro rolling.
Oh. I have so far, brother. I have so far.
$14,999. It's time to hit the play button. Let's get this podcast rolling. It is the Notorious ATB right here with Just Incredible. This is the Till 5 Wrestling Podcast for the Bad Boys Pod. And we are here with 5 more exciting segments for you. We have got to start things off the TNA Mount Rushmore.
Yes, sir.
Now, we can go ahead and just flat out agree Jeff Jarrett has to take that first spot.
Oh, yeah. There's no other more obvious choice than Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, Jeff started that company. It was his money that went into running things. Yeah, he had to get the Carters involved, but Jeff Jarrett is Mr. TNA as far as I'm concerned.
You know, a lot of people say that they get upset with Jeff for being the world champion a lot of times, but a lot of people don't realize Jeff put almost everybody over in that company, honestly, over the course of the time.
He might have had the world title for a long time.
Yep.
But he was the first person to get AJ Styles a world title.
Absolutely.
To get Ron Killings a world title.
Yep.
Let's not forget the Samoa Joe matches. Jeff Jarrett was putting everybody over.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff Jarrett, I mean, he would probably be in my personal Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
But he is in the TNA Mount Rushmore.
If it was up to me, Jeff would be all four.
We could have like short hair Jeff, long hair Jeff, mid hair Jeff, and bald Jeff.
There you go.
Yeah,
perfect.
Got them all. Just Jeff Jarrett's all the way around.
Next, I think another one we can unanimously agree on is probably AJ Styles.
Yeah, I think that AJ definitely belongs up there. AJ, Grand Slam champion in TNA.
Yep.
He did everything.
Yep. This is where we probably start to differ a little bit.
Probably.
So I went with Sting.
And I don't agree with that at all.
That's crazy to me. When I honestly, and it could be me, I grew up watching a lot of TNA. When I think back about TNA, the first person I think of is Sting through the years.
See, I probably think of Jeff Hardy before I think of Sting.
Really?
Yes, no joke.
Victory Road was pretty memorable.
Hey, that was the reason I ordered the original Victory Road pay-per-view, was because Jeff came in and fought for the world title at it. So yeah, I was a Jeff Hardy fan back in the day.
Sting, much like we said with Jarrett, put everybody over, multi-time world champ, made his grand comeback, and Stinger's one of the greats. I mean, I loved it.
I could see Sting's argument for pretty much any Mount Rushmore. You know, he had his WCW run, his WWE run, his AEW run.
A lot of fun. That was.
Yeah, all of his runs have been fun, except for him coming back too soon with AEW. But that's a tangent or a notorious moment for another day.
Try to steal my gimmick.
My bad. I thought stealing gimmicks was your gimmick.
Not the only podcast that steals stuff, sir.
Now, my third person is actually going to be the Tennessee Cowboy James Storm.
That's a great pick, and I pondered on that for a while.
James deserves it. Yeah, he held every belt. He probably wrestled more matches than anybody in that company by the time it was all said and done.
Probably.
Because unlike EY, he didn't take time off to go do fishing shows and stuff like that.
That's true. That's true. Well, I went with my fourth slot with Kurt Angle. Now, I pondered on this one for a little while more so than the rest because I almost said Christian Cage. And I'll tell you why. Christian Cage was the first big name to jump over, and it made it feel like such a huge deal. And it was, it was big, but nothing was bigger in 2006 than Kurt Angle popping up on TNA
It's true.
That was the absolute run of a lifetime. Kurt Angle, Perk Angle, as the kids call him.
His the steel cage match with Mr. Anderson is great. Anybody should enjoy watching that.
Well, last week I got a little into Desmond and Kurt Angle's matches.
Desmond and Angle had great matches. Well, I was trying to avoid putting over Nigel again after you were. Okay, we'll put over. We're gonna.
Cycle's not over yet.
He had Samoa Joe. The Angle and Joe were probably some of the best matches TNA ever had.
I mean, God, Angle and AJ.
Angle and Jared. What is your Mount Rushmore? Just guys who had good matches together? Is that what we're boiling down to?
That works for me.
Well, I'm going to put in somebody who didn't wrestle hardly anybody on that list. He sure didn't do it much.
Okay.
In my opinion, I feel like Moose has become a person that belongs on the TNA Mount Rushmore.
Moose is super important and integral, especially to the product of today's TNA.
Yes. Moose has been the face of TNA for a while.
Really like Moose.
Yeah, and he's even admitted that he won't go somewhere else when his contract's up.
That's so cool.
He's just going to retire. He's got money from his time in the NFL, so he'll be good to go.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Honorable mention, Abyss is a guy.
Abyss would be a good one. Daniels, even. I could make an argument for Christopher Daniels.
I could make as one head the Motor City Machine Guns.
Well, that's not how Rushmores work.
Well, it is this time. Really, you could take two heads and put Saban and Shelley on.
You know what? Could have made an argument for Scott D'Amore.
Yeah, definitely Scott D'Amore.
Because even when he wasn't backstage, the character with Team Canada was great.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was the one who resurrected TNA.
Yep. He is he's definitely a super important to TNA also.
Yes. Now, that's one, folks.
That's one.
And it was a quick one for us. I know that happens. But sometimes things get shook up a little bit. Sometimes you have to go changing your gimmick around. And a new gimmick is needed. So let's talk about some people that we feel could benefit from a little bit of new gimmick. Instead of focusing on some old gimmicks that were bad.
Right.
Give me a wrestler that you would like to reboot.
Man, off the top of my head, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one because on the last time we did this segment, I talked about The Fiend. I think we should reboot Bo Dallas.
You want him to be back to Bo leaving?
No, I want him to go in a completely different direction entirely. He can be he doesn't have to be Bo Dallas. He can be Bo Rotunda or whatever they want to call him and just be a wrestler.
So just drop Uncle Howdy.
Completely. Yeah. I'm totally not into it.
I may not enjoy all of it.
But
I get why it's there and it's doing decent ratings, so I say leave it.
Me personally, that's what I would pick.
I think that I might do the gimmick change of turning Cody Rhodes heel.
That's a good one.
We'll color the hair back to black. We'll give him a Hollywood Hogan moment. Let him lead in a heel stable, and I think it could be a lot of fun. Heck, even let him pull like Solo and Jacob Fatu into being his muscle.
I'll tell you one, Seth freaking Rollins. I hate Rollins, whatever the
goofy suits that he comes out there dancing. Okay, so what are you going to do with him?
Anything. Make him more serious. Tyler Black would be cool. Come out and be darker. Be a darker character.
We could have emo Seth Rollins.
Emo Seth Rollins in 2024 would probably get over.
If Jimmy Jacobs wasn't in AEW, he could come out with it as his manager. That would be great. That would
have been really cool.
That would have been fun.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah. WWE's full of those.
We'll get to that.
Maybe what they should do is bring back another Doink.
You think so?
Yeah.
Who can play Doink in 2024? Let's see. Akira Tozawa would probably make a good Doink.
He could make it a Doink.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could have might as well just let Ricky Starks do it since he's not doing anything else.
Ugh.
He's sitting at home.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, any other gimmicks that you think are currently just not great? I'm sure there's quite a few. We're just not thinking off the top of our heads here, but
I mean, there are some gimmicks that I feel like were way past their time.
Like the Acclaimed?
Yeah, well, I was actually looking back to more like Vince McMahon and his racist Asian gimmicks.
Kung Funaki. I actually was thinking about that before the show started because Funaki was a fantastic wrestler.
Yoshitatsu.
Yeah, Yoshitatsu was a bad one. Let's
Yeah.
not forget Lord Tensai, A-Train, the white guy.
And how about Kenzo Suzuki and his wife making them come out there in kimonos and stuff, trying to sell that they
Well, do you remember the original gimmick for that? I don't even think it came to TV, but it's been like released. Some of the stuff. He's like a kamikaze pilot. Kenzo Suzuki.
Of course,
was.
Vince
Yeah, it was
McMahon
crazy.
wanted to
You
make
need to
it
look
cover.
into that if you've not seen.
I'm
that.
good, thanks.
That's hilarious.
Now, that's almost as bad as deciding to make Muhammad Hassan a terrorist sympathizer. Honestly, I liked the character and I thought it would have worked. I was more upset that they dropped it so quick.
I thought Muhammad Hassan could have been a world champion. Honestly, he had serious potential.
I hate that he never got a chance to go on and have the career he should have.
Yep.
Because the kid was talented.
Yep.
And he deserved more.
He threw everything into that gimmick too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I do feel like the Acclaimed today could probably use a little bit of a revamping. You've heard me.
So I grab about the Acclaimed every week, and I used to be a big fan. It's not that I dislike the guys. I think they're fine. They
haven't developed.
No,
there is no I feel like your character has to evolve.
We peaked 2 years ago with the Acclaimed.
Yeah, well, you look at John Moxley. He has evolved his character quite a bit since he popped up at Double or Nothing years ago. But the Acclaimed are doing the same shtick that they did from day one. They come out in their pink and black outfits, scissor me, gold chain, headphone, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. And it just doesn't stick anymore. It doesn't work. Hopefully Mansoor and
Mason Madden, whatever they're called. We love those guys.
Yeah, hopefully they can help get it over again with the touching of the tips.
Well, speaking of what works.
You know what works for me? For when I'm hurting or when I'm down, I say a little bit of green hemp will help with that. For me personally, I like their cereal bars, especially the cookies and cream cereal bars. They have gummies. You can get a low dose gummy that will help with pain quite a bit. You can even go up to the 50 milligram gummies if you're someone who has some neuropathy from diabetes or losing a limb. That can be very helpful for them. You can always go to their store in Greenville, Tennessee, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sundays from noon to 6 p.m. You can email them at greenhempcompany@gmail.com. Find them on Facebook. They're located in the foothills of the Smokies. Hit up Donna. She'll get you some good deals. Now, some people that could probably use a little bit of green hemp are going to be the people that have had to wrestle John Moxley in some of his more violent era.
Man.
That's why our next segment is the Ring of Violence, John Moxley. So Moxley debuted in 2004.
Right.
HWA, just like Nigel.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Wow.
Back in Les Thatcher School. Well, Moxley's a Cincinnati local.
That's right.
So it worked out perfect. Now, he did the HWA stuff. He did CZW. FIP. Yep. I'm not a big CZW guy.
Not particularly, no.
I saw a little bit of his FIP stuff because of the Ring of Honor connection.
Yep.
But I really first got introduced to John Moxley with Dragon Gate USA. With him, because he was in there at the same time as you had Sammy Callahan, you had Big Rig Brody Lee, you had Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
It was a stacked roster.
I think Pac was still around at that time,
He was.
Yeah.
Now, the cool thing about about Moxley's debut, he came into Dragon Gate USA in his first match, beat Tommy Dreamer.
Wow. I did not know that either.
Yes, he did.
Dropping some facts on me here tonight.
He had a lot of fun feuds. His last match was with Homicide. Now, one of the funnier things to happen was when he was wrestling Jimmy Jacobs, he actually almost completely severed a nipple.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like almost a real titty twister of a moment. So from there, he got signed to FCW. Mm-hmm. He went to the WWE, went to their developmental.
Became Dean Ambrose.
He got the name changed to Dean Ambrose. So he ends up becoming part of the Shield.
Yep.
He
for a long time, he was the longest reigning United States champion. I don't think he is now, but he was for a very long time during his run with the Shield, but he never defended the belt.
Well, they were always in trios,
right?
Or he was just standing there snarling with the belt on his shoulder. I thought that the idea of him and Mick Foley
Mhm.
Having a match would have been great.
That would have been really neat.
But
that would have been a neat rub.
You should always clear stuff with somebody before you go talking about it on TV and camera.
That's right.
Because then you end up discussing their kids and making them upset.
Yep.
So from there, he went to his WWE run as a solo star, stupid wearing a mask, talking to a potted plant.
You know, he actually won the WWE Championship, though. Moxley in his WWE run was a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. Already, as mentioned, a 1-time U.S. champ. Won the tag belts twice with Seth Rollins later on, and was a 1-time WWE champ, as well as hanging out with Mitch the Potted Plant.
Yeah, he had the accolades to be a Hall of Famer. He just had a lot of stupid stuff to get there.
He just hated it. I mean, it just wasn't him.
He did. And then he made everybody think he was going to go into acting.
It doesn't matter how good you are or where you're at. Sometimes you just don't jail where you are. And Moxley's a great example of that.
It's very much Cody belongs in the WWE.
Absolutely.
John Moxley doesn't.
Yeah.
So Moxley got his release and implied he was going into Hollywood. Then he pops up in AEW at Double or Nothing and lights an instant fire under the entire promotion.
Has a phenomenal feud with Kenny Omega right off the bat to kickstart AEW.
We will just ignore the ending of that barbed wire exploding ring match.
Other than that, I actually wrote that down as one of my favorite Moxley matches because prior to that being a botched ending, that match was fantastic. It was awesome. And it sucked that, it sucks that the ending destroyed.
Remembers.
Yeah.
So from there, he admitted in 2021 that he had some alcohol issues and took some time off from the ring, got himself clean, came back looking jacked.
Yes, he did.
And has been a main event star ever since. Actually, had some bangers against CM Punk before CM Punk packed up his bags and went home.
3-time AEW World Champion, John Moxley.
Yes. But to me, what's probably the best part for John is that even though he gets to go out here and have these brutal matches with his friends like Eddie Kingston and Claudio and everybody.
Yep.
He's also getting to hang out with his wife in between all of this.
That's pretty cool.
Because him and Renee, they actually met in 2013 and got married like randomly in Vegas in 2017.
Well, you know, this is not Ring of Love. This is Ring of Violence. So not only does John Moxley work for AEW, but John Moxley goes to Japan a lot. John Moxley occasionally works for GCW and puts on a death match with the likes of Nick Gage.
Bloodsport.
Moxley works for Bloodsport. Sometimes Moxley goes down to CMLL and tries his luck there. This guy's a wheelchair. He's a modern-day Stan Hansen. He's everywhere. He's all over the world. Former IWGP champion, former AEW champ, WWE champ, GCW champ, CZW champ, North American Grappling Association gold medalist, John Moxley.
And we can't just ignore the fact that even though Moxley, he's part of this same era of wrestling that came from Ring of Honor.
Yep.
This is a man who made his name during that era without being in Ring of Honor.
Yep.
Like Moxley made his name.
He came up a much harder path than some of those guys.
Yes.
He went the long route.
That it was very much the Brody Lee and Sami Callihan route.
Yeah.
Because Brody didn't get a lot of matches in Ring of Honor.
Brody made it eventually.
Yeah,
too.
He did. He was big rig Brody Lee during the Age of Fall.
Mox, Brody, and Sammy do have a lot in common on their way up.
And they were all three in DG USA.
That's true.
Were they? No, it was Eric Cannon in Duff with them.
Yep.
But, you know, Moxley, he's got this team now, and he could have a trio.
He could have a trio.
But he lets Pac and Yuta and Cesaro handle those AEW trios better.
Maybe not Yuta for too long.
He did seem a little upset.
He seemed a little upset about it.
Yeah, and then, you know, if Moxley was to struggle to figure out a good partner for a blind bag, maybe we could help him out here. Maybe we should pick out John Moxley's replacement partners to go against Pac, Yuta, and Cesaro.
So we're going to draw 2 guys for John Moxley.
Yes, in our blind bag special AEW Trios edition. So, do you want to go first?
Sure. Am I doing one?
You do one.
All right. John Moxley's first partner is Nick Wayne.
Okay.
Nick Wayne.
So my first partner for Moxley.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to be Colt Cabana.
Fantastic. Officer
Colt Cabana, yes. From JCW. That's what he'll bring that gimmick over.
Oh, my. My second is Mason Madden from MXM.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's awesome.
That's a fun
That's an interesting trio.
Yeah.
That's a very fun
here
trio.
For me, Officer Colt Cabana and Kyle Fletcher.
Okay.
So
yeah, I really can't see either of these four hanging out with Moxley. Maybe Nick Wayne.
Yeah, Colt Cabana might.
Colt might.
They can talk about the Rocky movies or something.
They can talk about Rocky.
Yeah.
They love Rocky.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go a little goofy with it.
Okay.
We're gonna have Yuta end up swaying Cesaro and Pac to not help Moxley.
Okay.
So Moxley decides to join the Don Callis family. And that's where we get Kyle Fletcher. And then Colt Cabana gets brought in as their new young boy. Even though Cabana's older than Kyle Fletcher.
There you go.
He can be the Callis family young boy.
And Colt's funny. He can pull that off.
Yeah, that would work perfect.
Okay.
And Moxley,
I don't hate that.
Moxley can play the role of CM Punk with Cabana and ROH,
Uh-huh.
where he's always, be serious, Colt.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like that. Yeah, that'll work.
All right. Well, I'm going to have a much harder time figuring
good
mine out,
luck
but I have an idea. So Mason Madden and Mansoor mesmerized Nick Wayne with the tip touch. He is now mesmerized.
Okay.
Okay. So he's with them. But John Moxley, as we know, needs help. Well, Mason Madden thinks to himself, we could mesmerize John Moxley. Right? See, it's a little goofy gimmick.
So we're going to let Eminem touch tips with John Moxley.
MXM
are
going to touch tips with Moxley as well as Nick Wayne, and a brainwashed John Moxley and Nick Wayne.
So it would be like MQ'd.
Sure.
Yes,
MQ. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And they're going to the brainwashed team of Moxley and Nick Wayne teaming with Mason.
So is Moxley going to have this like Metro gimmick too?
Yes, sir. They both are.
Okay. Well, I mean, Nick Wayne kind of already does.
Moxley's going to come out and he's going to do the model thing. He's going to like strike a pose. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love it.
A button-up shirt and everything.
Yep, you're going to love it.
When he whacks his chest.
He can do it.
Oh,
that's
perfect.
fine.
We go.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty boy John Moxley.
There you go. That's the new gimmick.
Okay. You know what? Either one of them would probably be better than seeing Wheeler Yuta with the title.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
And that's 4. You know, speaking of 4, sometimes people like to enjoy a little thing called 420. And that is where Green Hemp Company can help you if that's the way you choose to roll one. You can always hit them up at greenhempcompany.com. You can find them on Facebook. You can catch them in their store in Greenville, Tennessee, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sundays, noon to 6 p.m., or you can email them at greenhempcompany.com and get Donna to help you out with some quality product.
All right. And we are here for the final segment. And Aaron, I'd like you to introduce our special guest for tonight.
So if you've not noticed this stud muffin back here, we have got the one and only Theo Hughes. He's our Dropout Dropkick here.
Love drop kicks.
So, Theo.
Yes.
Hold on, let me pass him a mic.
You going to pass him a mic?
Let me give him a mic.
You're going to give up your mic.
We're going to give up my mic. And Theo.
Look, I agreed to a guest. I didn't say I wanted him to have his own mic.
Theo is going to talk through this segment. And you guys can have a great time.
All right. So you're just going to sit there and look pretty.
I'm just going to look good as I
usually
do.
So, Theo, who might, or what might you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about the best bodyguards in wrestling.
The best bodyguards in wrestling here with the Dropout Dropkick. All right. So, Theo, who is your favorite backup, your favorite heavy for somebody in wrestling?
Recently, it's got to be Wardlow with MJF. I think it was the best run.
It was a great run for Wardlow. I expected more for him out of it.
I did too.
Now, Wardlow's kind of been fumbled ever since. They got tossed into the Undisputed Era, Kingdom, whatever they're calling that group.
Good grief.
Yeah, and they've just completely ruined him. So I can understand the appreciation of Wardlow as a heavy, and it really worked. I feel like we could have done a lot more than we did. Personally, looking back, I really enjoyed Virgil as a heavy for Ted DiBiase. I really liked it. I thought it worked. And it's even better when you look back and realize that he lied about his age for all those years. And he claimed to be younger than he really was and completely worked everybody. Any others?
Like Big Bill right now.
You like Big
With
Bill?
the learning tree.
I enjoy the learning tree. We can't read that, sir. We're not in high enough definition for your handwriting. Oh, you enjoyed Diesel. Okay. So Just Tam would like to mention that he enjoyed Diesel. All right. So Diesel and Shawn Michaels. Diesel was a heavy for Shawn.
I like Diesel.
I liked Diesel with Shawn. But personally, I would venture to say that Psycho Sid was a better muscle for Shawn. I feel like that worked better because Diesel didn't need him.
I get it.
Yeah. So, are there any other muscles that you really enjoyed?
No.
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 All right. So he came on here to talk. Did Bill Goldberg kick you in the head or something?
Yes.
Okay.
I hate Bill Goldberg.
Well,
He sucks.
Bill Goldberg loves you.
Give me that thing, dude.
What?
Hey, Dad.
Okay, then. Well, that's fine, folks. And I guess we'll catch you all next week, assuming that everything still works properly.